Yeah, is that? Yeah, sorry about that. I'm an idiot.
No,
I think
hey, we're
connect.
in Gen Xville here.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought it was automatically going to
Sorry,
do.
folks. We'll
Okay,
back up because we've been having a jolly old time chatting.
okay. Well, this is the stream talking horror, and it's myself and Wendy talking about what we like about horror, how we got into horror,
Mhm.
um, series, TVs, books, and such. So, what got you into horror?
Right. So I got into horror when I was very, very young, actually. My parents were avid readers. We had loads and loads of books, bookshelves in the house. And one of the books that I picked up one day was the collected works and stories of Edgar Allan Poe. And I was hooked from there. I absolutely loved Poe, both his poetry and particularly The Raven, but also his stories. The Telltale Heart is a favorite, and The Cask of Amontillado is
Mhm.
another favorite. And then I got into horror comics, so creepy and eerie were, and I wish I still had my copies. Oh my God. And also Vampirella, which featured the artwork. A lot of those horror comics featured the artwork of Frank Frazetta, the artist, who was one of my absolute favorites. Boris Vallejo, I think, was another big artist for those, and that art really drew me in at the time, and it just expanded my love of horror in yet another format. And then I got when I was quite little, my mom would babysit a lot of the other children in the neighborhood, so we were all doing like a little sleepover one night, and of course, Night of the Living Dead came on at like silly o'clock in the morning, and of course, we all watched it, even though we probably weren't supposed to watch it. We watched it anyway, um, and I was absolutely hooked then. So I had book, I had comic, and I had movie, and then got into TV horror with something called The Circle of Fear, which was again from the 70s in the US. And that was like shorts, like little horror stories, like an hour long, or half an hour long. And they were really scary. They were a bit like the later series. I can't even think of the name of it now, but that was the TV horror that kind of got me started as well. How about you?
Um, well, I wasn't someone initially got into horror because I was scared as a child, but I remember going to my grandma's and my aunt was there, and they showed me Rosemary's Baby, which was a bit
Yeah.
scared, and that I had a few nightmares, but years went on, and I started picking up stuff from my cousin who read all the books that are about them. He had Guy and Smith, and he had um, some Stephen King stuff, and my grandma used to read it, and that kind of tickled my interest, and gradually I got into it. And I
Mm.
loved it, and then went to school and started role playing, and then got
Oh,
into
cool.
Dungeons and Dragons, and
Yes.
then one of my friends said, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, play Call of Cthulhu. And Call of Cthulhu led me into H.P. Lovecraft
Of
and
course. Yeah.
August Derleth and Ramsey Campbell. And
Mm.
we've got this galactic horror, which is really, some of it is, I liked most of it. Some of it was so you're just a human being and the universe doesn't care, and that was
Yeah.
kind of ooh,
A little
it's
heavy. Yeah.
very heavy. And some of the prose was you thought, where's this going? And I remember reading one story by Lovecraft, thinking, what exactly happened in that? It was loads of very colourful prose, and then I think
Yeah.
that was about ghouls. Oh,
It's very fatiguing. If you
mm,
if you're reading something like that that's very dense, it's like you say, it's got a lot of heavy prose in it. It's fascinating. It's interesting to read. I do like it when I'm
mhm,
in the mood. to read that sort of thing, but it can be a little bit fatiguing, I think, for the reader.
Definitely. And there were some stories that stick in my mind from Lovecraft, and one of them was The Rats in the Walls, which is, have you read that one?
I haven't read that one, but I've heard of that one. Yeah, anything like that with, a story like that is right up my street.
And also the Shadow over Innsmouth.
Yes.
And the Dunwich Horror, which that is really dark, I think, but that's worth reading. It's but from the very outset, the describing the town of Dunwich, and it's you think, oh, walking down the turnpike and all these old dilapidated places, and old Wilbur Whatley and his and his old wife, and dancing on this hillside, and he had two sons, and one of them you know straight off is just out there nasty, and the other one
damaged. Yeah,
is you never see to the end, and you wish you'd never had. So, but yeah, I say that got me into that. Then you get all that watching at school, people with a video recorders, the video nasties, cannibal films that I never got to see. And they're all like what were they like? And then I got to see them later on. I thought, why were they ranting about these things? Because they weren't that scary. But yeah, did you ever see any of those?
When you say the video nasties, what do you mean specifically? What
things like Driller Killer and things like that.
Oh, yes. See, those I wouldn't have. I know of them. I absolutely know of them. But those were the things that I was I stayed away from, like the body horror ones a little bit, although I just thought of one that I absolutely loved, which was Scanners. And it had I love Scanners. That was so good.
That everybody kept on telling me about that, and then I saw it in a video shop years later, and it's got what's his name? Oh crikey, that guy who's in V and Ham Tyler. I can't remember his name now, and he's on the front of that.
Troopers and Michael Ironside.
That's it.
I should know him right off the bat because he is actually one of my favorite actors, my favorite horror actors. Definitely.
Yeah, and then I remember one I did actually see of my friend Phantasm.
Yes.
And in fact, I remember the adverts for that on the television. With
that little sphere with the knives in it.
And the old guy. I can't remember what they call him.
I can't remember. It's been
silver-haired man.
That's a classic. I didn't quite know what to make of that when I first saw it, but then I watched it again years later, and I think I got a lot more out of watching it. I enjoyed it a bit more for the shock value of it.
Yeah. And Poltergeist, I saw that because the
original movie Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Wonderful movie.
I think there's some bits in that really made me jump when she goes into that room and that big skull comes out.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
And the wet bit where the guy's in the bathroom with a chicken leg.
Yeah.
And he goes in
and into like Maggie.
And his face, he starts doing his face. So, oh no.
Yeah, that movie was great. The thing that I find the scariest in that movie is that freaking clown doll in that boy's room. I would have been throwing that thing out the window because I was terrified of things under my bed when I was little. I can remember, and a relative actually gave me. This was I don't know if this was before or after the movie Poltergeist that I watched, but a relative had made this lovely doll. It was just like one of these sock dolls with like long arms and legs. I was terrified of it. And I could not go to sleep with that thing in the room. I had to make my mother take it out of my room. But that scene in Poltergeist scares the bejesus out of me because it pulls him under the bed. And that was one thing and it was funny because when you grow up Gen X, your parents are like, well, I don't know what you're so scared of. You watch horror movies all the time. What do you want? because I'd go to get out of bed at night and I would have to jump from the bed like a couple feet because
Mm.
I was afraid something was going to grab my ankle from under the bed. And we had this staircase going up to a refurbished attic room because my dad was a carpenter, and the staircase was almost like an attic staircase. It was a stationary staircase, but it had just flat panels on the top. It didn't have the back
Oh,
part.
oh, I
For
understand.
whatever reason, he just had them like as flat panels. And I I used to run up and down those
Mm.
holding my breath because my imagination was so out there by then with all the horror that I'd watched. I was just waiting for something to grab my ankle through the
Okay,
stairs. It
because
was so
that's
funny.
another thing. One of the films that sticks in my mind is the Return of the Living Dead. Have you watched that
Oh,
one?
okay. If I
With
have, it's not been recently, so I'd have to really.
it's the almost a comedy one with the two guys, and there's an older bloke and a younger man, and they're working in like a medical supplies warehouse, and down in the cellar there's these tanks of the American military were using this chemical, and
Oh, wait.
the tar
Okay.
man and it brains. They got brains.
Okay, I might have. I
Yeah,
might
that
have. That's
that
starting to
one.
sound familiar.
And the girl runs up the stairs, and the stairs go, and he tries to get. That's the sort of
Okay.
stairs. That I like those films, but
Yeah. I love I don't mind, the ones that are a bit campy and a bit fun. I mean, we were
Mhm,
talking about comedy horror type films
mhm,
the other day. And just backtracking 1 second, I can see PJ's put in the chat. Absolutely agree. Boris Karloff, I grew up on. My dad was a huge Boris Karloff fan, so I used
mhm,
to watch all of those movies with my dad. That was one of our
mhm.
things that we like to do. Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr., all of those Hammer horror movies, absolutely
Yeah, they were.
amazing.
Yeah,
Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, grew up with
mhm,
all those.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
They was because you
yeah.
watch those on because they weren't really. There was sort of horror that my mum and dad, I don't think, would really have minded me watching.
Yeah.
The Mummy, all of because they're black and white and they weren't overly bad. So
Yeah,
we
there wasn't
we
like
really
massive body horror or anything in those.
yeah. I mean, in fact, my dad and mum and me, we watched It Came from Outer Space, which was
Yeah.
together, and then afterwards there was the Wolfman and Dracula, and we
Yeah.
actually quite enjoyed that. So it's only when I
Yeah.
started going to school and meeting other people that have seen other things that my dad said, "No, you're not watching that." So it
Yeah.
was just, and I just said, "Oh, I think it was later on. I've got to see those." So I sort of went back and picked them all up. But I was
Yeah.
just, but we were talking about what sort of horror really gives you,
Unsettles us. Yeah.
it scares you, and I said about sort of horror where you are only you. It's focusing on you, such as It Follows and even It. So
Mhm.
yeah,
That's definitely genuinely scary because you just feel so totally vulnerable because if you're the only one that's experiencing it and seeing it, you literally completely on your own then. The ones
yeah.
that really scare me are, as we were talking before, the human monsters. I'm fine with bug-eyed monsters, cryptids, viruses, you
All
name it.
right.
Love them all, but I'm very picky and choosy with the human monster ones that I love. I mean, I love Halloween. Halloween is one of in my top 5 horror movies of all time.
Mhm,
Friday the 13th is more nostalgic for me because I went and saw that in the theater
mhm.
when it came out, but that that whole type of human monster I don't mind because it's almost camp, you know.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th more so, but Halloween is in a different league because that is genuinely like really scary. That
Mm.
because he's silent and he's just coming for you. And the scene in Halloween where he's standing across the street and she goes
Ye-
outside and she's in a panic and she can just see him standing there staring
yeah,
at her. And the slow,
mhm,
steady walk towards the house
yeah,
is
uh,
one of the most
yeah.
terrifying things.
That's right. The unrelenting. No,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can. Well, it's almost
You don't you feel helpless because
yes, yeah,
this is an
definitely,
unstoppable threat. Even,
yeah,
normal things that would stop a normal human monster don't
hmm
stop these types. And that's what really sticks with you, I think.
yeah.
Um,
That's why I think It Follows was the thing, and the way that they deal with it was also horrible in that film. But you've got to
mm,
watch that to find out. But I thought,
yeah.
oh, well, that's not. I'm. What about some of the film, the Japanese type things like The Grudge
Oh,
and
yes.
th-
And the
th-
other one, The Ring.
yes, yeah, that
I
was.
must say, I I love them. I love the technique. I love
Mhm.
everything about them. The Ring in particular, the not the newer one that they did. I think they did a newer one, but
Yeah,
this was I think the
the original
did they
Japanese one.
yeah, yeah, absolutely terrified me. That again is one of those relentless things that's coming towards you. It's coming for you, and it has a curse attached to it as well. So it's like you feel
Mm.
so um terrified. And PJ's just mentioned Videodrome as well. That was also
Oh,
quite
yeah.
a scary one.
Yeah, I never saw that. But is that the one with Debbie Harry was in it? Or I'm thinking of something else. Video
Oh,
trap.
possibly. Yeah, I can't remember on that one. But yeah, some of those Japanese ones. And I just recently actually watched another Japanese, a much more recent Japanese horror movie. He says yes, yeah. I can't think of the name of it now. Because I was making a list of some of my absolute favorite
Hmm.
horror movies. And the list was so long that I had to give up in the end because we would be here about 8 hours.
Yeah.
So I had to leave some off, but I did watch a more recent one that I
Hmm.
really enjoyed as well. So yeah, I do love
Yeah.
foreign, you know, the Scandi horror ones as
Hmm.
well are very good.
Hmm.
I really enjoy those.
Yeah. I
Things
buy
that are
that list.
set, yeah, things that are set in Scandinavia and countries and things like that. Finland, Sweden, things, they're in Norway. There's something about them that's just very unsettling.
Hmm. I liked, I enjoy those because I like seeing how different countries do horror. That's the thing
Yes.
that really intrigues me. Um, such as that. And did you ever see another one I saw was The Lighthouse? Did you see that one? It was like a quite a cheaply one done, and it had a couple of, and it was meant to be like a Lovecraftian thing, and that was
Ooh, I'm
really
not
disturbing.
sure.
It's worth seeing just for the experience because it's like almost like madness what's going
Yeah.
on there and what is really going on. And I sat there thinking, that's
Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll look for that.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like all that. So I mean, I watched the Japanese, I watched The Grudge,
Yeah, The Grudge is really good.
and also what was that film I saw? There was a film about deep where this woman is trapped. She works in this deep sea place. It's like a mining place. It was I can't remember the actress now. She was in
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio?
no.
Is
It's
this older
a
or newer or
no. It's she was in oh, what's that film? The Vampires That Shine.
Oh
I don't.
gosh, I'm not familiar with that one.
No,
Oh,
there was a look. She did a
oh,
series
you're
of vamp.
talking about like oh wait. Yeah, no, that's not.
No, it was there were vampires and werewolves and what I'm terrible. And then she did she did this film
Oh,
where
is he saying PJ says Twilight?
yeah, she's
I
a
didn't
woman from
watch Twilight.
Twilight. No, I barely but I saw this film and she was in this deep sea factory thing. And then the
Okay.
whole place goes to ruin and she's but right in there, you realise there's something really bad out there, and it
Yeah.
turns out it's some sort of like Cthulhuid monster. But
Oh, sign me up for that.
that is scary to me because
Yeah.
deep water and something you can hear as she's walking along. You can hear the metal straining.
Oh, yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
scares
really
me.
gets into your psyche, that does.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
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 go ahead.
yeah, another thing that really, I don't know if you find this. Have you seen the Descent films?
Yes, yes, yes. Cave horror, sign me up.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
into it. Yeah.
And I must have, one thing that really embarrassed me was in that film, before they even go down the caves, there's a scene where a woman sort of like, she gets out of the bedroom and she walks along and she thinks she hears something. She goes up to the window
Mhm.
and that spear comes through.
Oh,
And
God.
I'm in a cinema with about three quarters full. And my ex said, I literally shot out of the seat about 3 foot in the air and screamed like a mouse. And I'm like, oh no. And she laughed. But the next bit she got really scared of was when that girl gets stuck in the cave.
Yeah.
And my ex is saying to me, oh no, I don't like this. I hope she gets out. I said, you watch? No, I really don't like that. Where she's starting to struggle, and
Yeah.
I
Very
actually,
claustrophobic.
yeah, and it's different how certain things scare people.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did
Mhm.
like that film, and I think and I wished that they hadn't made a second one.
Yeah, I don't think I watched the second one, I can't
No,
remember. Um,
because yeah, carry on.
I don't mind if a sequel is good, I'm all for it,
Mm,
but I'm a little bit careful, like if they do a sequel, I tend to sort of hang back and sort of see if it's gonna be good before I'll go into it cold because, if it's a
mhm,
brand new film or if it's a movie that's, I know it is gonna be really good, then that's different, but sometimes if a movie that we really, really enjoy does a sequel, it's like an example of an exception to that rule is Aliens. Because
yeah,
the first Alien movie is a totally different type of movie,
mhm.
but one of the scariest films I've ever seen. And I've watched that literally more times than I can count. That is one of my comfort watch movies.
Well, Alien.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I've had this discussion with my friends, and we try to work out what was so scary about it. And we all came from different avenues. And the thing that really got us was they looked like normal people. Although they were in a
Mhm.
spaceship, they could be you all sitting, all your work colleagues sitting there and discussing things. And it was like this was happening to normal people, not just actors. It just seemed so because I thought, oh my God. And it was, and then the claustrophobicness of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, that was just, and I
Mm.
loved the characters. I thought the characters were so good.
They were
And
brilliant. The casting in that was
mm,
absolutely on par.
right, and what I ask you is, did you ever suspect there was an android on board when you first saw it?
That's a tough one because I first watched that back in the 80s because I rented it from the old, 1980s video stores
Mm-hmm,
with the big VHS tapes.
mm-hmm,
So I can't remember anymore if I knew
mm-hmm,
um if I knew Ash was you know,
mm-hmm.
was like a robot. Um
Because
it's just been so many years since that
yeah,
first watch.
I
There's
suppose yeah,
certain elements that I do remember watching for the first time, but that
mhm,
that I can't
yeah,
remember
yeah. As
if
I
I
say,
sussed it or not.
I asked one of my friends, dads, because we had this. He went to watch it. He was one of the first that we knew, and he said that was a real shock for him.
Mm,
But he said when he rewatched it later on the video, he said there were
well,
so many signs that
Oh,
there
the
was
signs were
something.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, he said, and it's sort of like then you were like, that's why he did that. That's why he did that, and it was so well done.
it was, and I
But
think I'm so glad that um I think it's most likely that I did not see that coming at all because it was so beautifully done. And Ian Holm is such a wonderful actor as well.
yeah,
He
it-
played that right down the middle, so you weren't 100% sure, but you knew he just at first I think it's sort of coming back to me just talking about it now. At first just seems like an awkward, maybe just like extremely mercurial person who just doesn't mix well with other people and
yeah,
doesn't really make conversation comfortably. So you
mm,
start thinking, oh, maybe he's just that type of a personality. So that's the fun of a movie where you really don't see something coming because
mhm,
nowadays we've seen so many of these tropes over and over and over again that it's nice for a change if you watch a movie and you don't see that coming. You don't see
yeah,
the
mhm,
the punchline. Um, I think there's some movies that still manage to pull that off occasionally, but it does become harder
yeah.
to get properly surprised.
It does. I think. Did you see the film The Woman in Black, the
Yes,
new one? What did you think of that?
the one with Daniel.
Yeah.
Yes, I if I remember correctly, because again, it's been a while since I watched
Mhm.
that. I enjoyed it,
Well,
but I wasn't. I don't think I was, jumping up and down, you know, blown away by it. I think I did enjoy it for what it was.
mhm. I must admit, I thought that they did bits well. I like the
Mhm.
bit where you got that build up of tension and then that dripping tap that
Yeah.
in one part. I thought, oh, that was done well because they built it up and built it up and did that. Because some movies do overdo the jump scares. Yeah.
And that's the other danger is if you do
Yeah.
too many,
Mhm,
it takes you out. It just takes you out of the flow of the story.
mhm,
I do love a jump scare. I know a lot of people don't like them. Some people just don't like them at all, but I do love a good jump scare. But as you say, if they overdo it,
mhm.
it does sort of spoil you know, the effect.
Definitely.
What I was going to ask you is what what horror movies would you say are probably your absolute favorite horror movies? What's on your list of your absolute favorites from any year or genre or
Well, Snap with Alien,
yeah.
because that one really is one that will always remind. Um, I did like oh crikey, I know it sounds really bad. It's gone out of my mind now. The one with the spaceship that comes back with Sam Neill in it. Um,
Um, you're not
the
talking about Event Horizon, are you?
that one that
Yeah, yeah, that's
that
scary.
that was that was that was disturbing.
Yeah, that's more
And
disturbing to be fair.
I and another one, and I actually really do like one of the ones I really like is Jeepers Creepers. I love that film.
I love Jeepers Creepers. Yes.
I love it. It's just the
It's a comfort
characters.
watch.
Yeah, it just is. And I love the creeper.
Yeah.
And I mean, and all I keep seeing is that old lady with all the cats. There's just and the music that is one of my favorite films. And the Descent, that was another one.
Mhm.
um and but I've got a whole range of like the old films,
Mhm.
such as the old monster movies. Ants, them, I
Yes,
like
PJ's
that.
just mentioned it in the chat. Good old
i
classic, absolute
I
classic.
love those films. And Tremors, I love Tremors.
Yes, I love Tremors as
I
well.
just love those films. And and I've got to say, if you're talking horror films, Jaws was
Yes,
another
thank
one.
you. That's top of my list. Absolute top of my
Um,
list.
as I, before we even started, we were talking about the horror that only you can see, and the original TV series or film. Um, Stephen King's It, the original one, with Tim
Mm.
Curry as Pennywise.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, kind of let down with the end spider bit, but up to
Mm.
then, you're thinking these are little children, and this thing is all they can see, and that
Well,
I
it
like
taps.
that.
That's what King was so good at. He taps into your childhood fears, your primal fears.
Hmm. Yeah, just there. When you think of it, I'm thinking, boy, that's my favorite. This is it. But there's so many. And Hellraiser. When I saw Hellraiser,
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
Hellraiser, I'm thinking, oh my god, this is a whole new level because you've got the door part of it,
yeah.
but that bit where they can turn up and get at
Those
you.
those characters, I love them so much.
Mm,
Obviously Pinhead,
yeah, all
but
of them.
the
Ooh.
first time I saw Hellraiser, I almost walked out of the movie because I was just not expecting that. And body horror was still something that I was sort of like, I did like, I do like a slasher, but that was sort of a new that was, something I hadn't quite delved into yet.
Hmm.
So it took a second watch of that for the the trigger to go, and I thought, okay, I like this. And I love the Cenobites and the whole concept of them. And like you said, they can just turn up. Well, obviously you have to, if you mess with the cube,
Yeah,
um, and when they start to turn up and the the red heated flames sort of come through the sides of the room and they
yeah.
start to come. It is such a fabulous moment.
There's no arguing with them, is there? It's just and the
Oh
way,
no, they're
you,
godlike. They are
yeah,
godlike, or yeah,
yeah. I think I like the first one. I think I saw the second one. I think I kind of left it there. I've read
yeah, same.
loads of the books, but I think that again it goes into trying to explain too much
Yeah,
of all of those. So yeah,
yeah. If I
we
was to go back and watch one, it would be the original every time.
I'm sure I still got the VHS of that somewhere. I've got a video player, but
That's
it's
amazing.
somewhere. Yeah, all of those sort of things. And we talked about TV series about such a people have tombs from the X Files,
Oh,
which,
yes.
as you said, was like a human type monster, although a mutant. But they,
Yes, he was so scary. As we were saying earlier, because he was nonverbal. He just
mhm,
he just looked at you. He just had that dead-eyed stare.
mhm,
And that was one of the most frightening things about him is when they do show him and you do actually see his face, you can just feel the
yeah,
alienness of him, but he's
yeah,
still in a human form, so it's really unsettling. And
yeah,
there were so many episodes of the X-Files that hit
yeah,
so many
like
nails on the head for horror for me.
yeah, such as the that creature that lived in the sewers, that fluke, the one that was
Oh,
like, oh,
oh,
that
that
was
was gross, but it was so
really,
scary.
yeah, really
That was
gross.
so gross.
Um,
Um,
I think I found the Alien Assassin, some of those, and there were some of those that were quite dark.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when they
The
turned up, ooh,
the
but
one of my absolute favorite X-Files episodes is the one where they're in it's I think it might be in the first season where they go into the forest. They go it's has to do with logging, and they've
oh
cut down a
yes,
tree and they've released something, a type of insect that was living in one of the rings of the tree. And by
oh,
chopping the tree down, they've released it, you
mhm.
know, and it at night, these green insects come down and they actually cocoon you alive.
Oh, I
It's
do. Yeah, I remember that.
oh
Yeah,
my god, that's one of my absolute favorite episodes. I love it.
and wasn't didn't they do one in the Arctic where they got
Yeah,
infected by something
yeah,
and it
yeah,
changed them? That was another one like that. They because I
yeah.
remember when the X Files on, I was getting all these books and it was like
Mm.
going through each episode with all the monsters, and they were saying what they actually found in the Arctic. And I found, yeah, they have found things that are really old. No, don't want to go there.
Yeah, and that's what makes it great, because any for me, if a horror movie is mixing sort of like real science with a horror element, where a virus that is completely out of control, and anything like that, I absolutely love any movie like that.
Yeah,
And also
that.
books, like I've read quite a few books. Like I love Richard Preston's stories. He wrote something called The Cobra Event, which was a fictional story, but he also wrote nonfiction, um, The Demon in the Freezer, and things like
Oh,
that about
mhm.
um,
Oh, that's
the
yeah.
smallpox virus and things like that. So I actually love the science as well, the
Mhm.
actual hard science, but I also love when it's incorporated into a horror fictional movie. That really draws me in. Um, I have I have movies that I love to the point of they have become comfort watches to me. So Jaws, that you mentioned before, is definitely the top of my
Mhm.
list,
Yeah.
especially because that one had a lot of meaning for me and my parents, and
Mm.
particularly well, both my parents, really, because my mom and I actually saw Jaws together in the movie theater when it first came out. And my
Mhm.
dad, for whatever reason, couldn't join us that night or something. So it was just me and my mom, and we watched that, and we were just blown away. And then my dad watched it finally, and then both he and I got really into sharks, and my dad was already very connected to ocean um, mythology and ocean science and things like that. So, and animals in general. I mean, I grew up being absolutely surrounded by. We lived in a very, very heavily wooded area when I grew up. So
Mhm.
anything like that always drew me in. So the other movie that it's actually a comfort watch, which is going to sound absolutely insane to some people who who might not understand why, but is The Exorcist. The original Exorcist is um, one of my absolute favorite movies, because it's about you're watching the human the humans in that movie are going through all these different scenarios, and like the mother with her daughter Regan, and you've got Father Damien going through his storyline through the movie, and he's one of my absolute favorite characters of all time. So that movie is a huge comfort watch for me, and it's still to this day, every time I watch it, it's still satisfying and unsettling, and I
Yeah,
just love the subject matter.
because I didn't see the film The Exorcist for a long, long time, but I had read the book, and
Oh,
I
see.
my friend, when I went to secondary school, he was a big reader of all that, and he said borrow that, and I went okay, and I'm just wow, that was quite amazing. And I watched it, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh yeah, because when you think about it, you had something that the people involved in it were coming across something that they probably we've moved on so much that that is just totally out there, isn't it? A
It
demon
is. It
inside
is.
someone, and the shock of oh, so if that's true, this must be true. What do we do? What we get? And
It
when the
really takes you, yeah, it takes you on a mental journey. You're thinking about all
yeah.
those things in your mind. So, as you say, if that can happen, then,
Mhm.
oh, okay, and it starts to get you thinking.
Mhm. That's where a lot of horror films, isn't it? Because they like lift the
Mhm.
lid, and you can suddenly think all these light bulbs going off in their head. I
Yeah.
mean, oh yeah. So,
One hot
uh,
movie that I grew up with. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, yes, sorry, I just moving the mouse. Yeah.
One another horror movie that I grew up with, because I watched it. My dad was a musician, he was a drummer, and when I was little, my mom used to drive him to his gigs, and
Mhm.
then me and her would go to a relative's house that lived nearby, because all of his gigs were sort of in New York, in and around New York City. So we had relatives that lived down there. So we used to go and hang with them, and I would end up just, kind of on my own, just hanging out in the living room. And I'd look for something on TV, and this horror movie came on, and in America it was called The Crawling Eye.
Oh.
But the British and the other title for it is called the Trollenberg Terror.
Oh.
And that one is, again, I think that one's from like the late 50s, early 60s. And it is one of my absolute all-time favorites, but probably because it's got memories attached to it. It's got really like nice memories attached to it. But it's also one of the movies that really frightened me, because it's a proper scary monster. And if you watch it through the lens of current day horror, it would be harder to appreciate how scary it was if you were watching that back then, in the 70s, watching something like that.
Yeah, I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said to you, when I first watched Salem's Lot, I watched it on a little tiny black and white television when my mum and dad were asleep, and I shouldn't really have been watching it.
Yes.
And it was terrifying. And I still, when I watch it in colour, it doesn't seem to have that fear as much as it did on black and white. But it's still a really frightening movie. And I read the book as well, and I actually think that the vampire in the book is more like Bela Lugosi than the one on the screen, because
which
the one
is more like Nosferatu, which is like
which is far more frightening. But
absolutely,
because the one on screen didn't actually talk, he didn't say anything, whereas the one in the book was talking, and he fed.
Okay.
When he met such as the gravekeeper Mike, he was saying, "Look, you're oppressed. You've got that. I know how people don't like you. Come with me." Whereas Mr. Barlow in the television series was just straight in there and
much scarier.
But I actually found Straker, played by James Mason, really frightening too.
James Mason was a brilliant actor, and he did have that.
Yeah,
he was sort of, what's the word?
He had presence, didn't he? He had gravitas.
Presence. That's it. Yeah, he did. Another one for me is from the 1960s again, and it's based on Shirley Jackson's The Legend of Hill House, and it's called The Haunting. And they've done a remake of it more recently, like within the last 20 years or so, I think. But the original black and white movie is another thing that I watched when I was quite young. PJ said check backstage. I think he's going to come and join us.
All right.
So that one is one of my absolute favorites as well, because it really plays on the psychological horror. Hiya, PJ.
I was busy earlier on. I thought I would maybe try to set it
Yay! Oh, wonderful.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I can't disagree with any of the movies you've been talking about.
Fabulous.
They're all great. So
yeah.
The next one.
Welcome, PJ.
And I was just going to hit on them. That was another one that I was just going to mention, is in my top movies.
Multiple times I've mentioned them throughout the years I've been on as my favorite. It's just one of those things.
And that noise.
Tremors.
Yeah, that is just, and the little girl.
Yes, the little girl. The little girl's face really nails it, and the sound effects in them are what really gets it.
It's one I grew up on. It's basically one that gave me the earliest nightmares. I still remember I stayed in tenements, big long tenements, 4 high. And I still remember the dream of making sure all my windows were shut, because I kept dreaming of all these giant ants climbing over the building.
Okay.
Yes.
And it basically, it just freaked me out. And it's still a movie I love. I still watch it.
It is. I mean, funny enough, I think I picked it up today and thought, oh, I've got to watch that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's definitely. I've had I got the physical copy of it a good few years back, and even got my T-shirt of them. So, but I love it. It's just one of those movies. It's that. I could rewatch multiple times them and Tremors, all 7 movies.
Oh, I
love Tremors as well.
That's why I printed that.
Yeah,
the graboid. I saw that you posted it up earlier. It's amazing.
I've always wanted one, and it's now I've got one.
Yeah, I watched that with a best friend, and he'd seen it before. He said, "You've got to see this." You're like Kevin Bacon, and I don't know the other guy. And the whole lot of them. It was such a good film.
It was. And considering one of the side characters became the most recognised one, Burt Gummer. Burt Gummer is in all 7 movies.
Is he the one? Is he the one in the bunker?
Yes,
he's married to Reba McEntire's character. Yeah, they are great. Those two, I absolutely
they are.
Them.
But they were so good, and considering they were only side characters, they Burt Gummer became the face of Tremors. He basically went on and did the next. He was in the next 6 movies, so he was in all 7 movies and the TV show. Whereas, Bacon, he got replaced in the second movie, or he basically got run out, and the other guy
the ones with like
was the
little chicken-sized ones, wasn't it? Like the little ones was in the second movie.
The Streakers,
like
you had the graboids, the Shriekers, and the ass blasters.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I can remember this
basically the graboids. The Shriekers ate their way out of the graboids, and then when they ate enough, they turned into ass blasters.
Okay,
and the ass blasters would take me, and then they would die and become graboids.
So the Streakers were the ones that could, if you couldn't make a sound because they reacted to sound, wasn't it?
That was heat.
Oh, was it heat? That's right. Yeah. It's been a really long time since I've seen the second one. The first one I've seen numerous times.
Yeah, same here.
Because the ass blasters, the Shriekers was the one that went.
Yes, that's the ones I was thinking about. Yeah,
the 2 legs, and yes,
that's why I call them
the ones that were basically longer, and they were called ass blasters because the chemical expulsion, they would fly. So they would blast themselves into the air, and then suddenly the wings would come out and they would fly.
Yeah.
So,
that was great.
They're a great series of movies. Are they up with number 1? No, but they're still fun. The whole series of them.
Yeah,
they are.
It's the
They're
same
great.
as Ask Me the Evil Dead. The very first one is best, but 2 and 3 are still good.
Bruce Campbell for the win every single time.
Bruce Campbell in anything. Have you seen any of these other ones where there's the one he's the mad scientist as well, and I'm trying to remember the name of that one. I've got all these movies.
Remember we watched Bubba Hotep and we talked about that one as well. That's a great one as well.
That's another great one. It's basically a horror comedy.
Yeah.
What was that one? I missed that.
Bubba Hotep.
It's with
I
Bruce
haven't
Campbell.
seen that.
Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell is Elvis Presley.
Oh,
or is he a guy who thinks he's Elvis Presley?
Yeah,
thinks he's been replaced because somebody else took his part. Because in the past he wanted as Elvis, he wanted a break, so he got somebody who was an impersonator to take his place, and then he did. They wouldn't accept him back, so he became this old man in the home. But the guy who did it with him, who was it?
His
It
co-star
was Otis.
genius.
He played JFK. So he was a black man. But the CIA turned him black so people wouldn't recognize him.
Yeah, those two characters were some of the best characters out there.
They are.
I love those movies so much.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Was it Otis?
Yeah, something? Otis something. I can't think.
Yeah, it was his last movie. He was just such a great character actor.
He was a wonderful actor. Perfect. I've seen him in other things.
But that's what's the good thing about horrors. Like you were talking about things like The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers the tune. They remember the dark figure with the briefcase, and then and it's the priest. Things like Damien with
Father Damien, or you mean The Omen?
The Omen.
The Omen, yeah.
Right, The Omen. We all remember Damien from The Omen, where the priest sees the picture with the line through it, and then the next thing you see him, he's standing there, and the lightning mask from the house gets blown off and scares him, and he's just basically standing there. Things like that, and the movies are that good that there's so many things that we all remember from them.
Yeah, well, that first Omen film was brilliant. I loved that, and I read the book shortly before I saw the film because my cousin had it, and I really thought that the films were great. David Warner was brilliant in that. And when you saw when he showed the photographs of and you're thinking, and you were just every time something happened, you think, now he's going to do it. Now that's going to happen. But that's
the thing. It's just but it was all these horrors that we're talking about. Everybody remembers them. So name a horror in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
There's going to be crickets chirping in this group.
The fact is, there's nothing that is a horror movie. Well, Tucker&Dale versus Evil. That's a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Sort of. But it's not really a horror and that such. It's just about how people perceive certain things and certain things happening. But there's very, very, very few movies, but horror movies that are in the zeitgeist. Whereas the movies you're talking about, even people who haven't seen them have heard about them, know the story about them because people have talked about them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about a good horror. You remember it.
I did.
And it causes nightmares.
One of the films I forgot to mention that I did like, and I like Babadook. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Because I've not even heard of that one.
That is worth seeing, the Babadook. And you never know. Well, I don't know whether there was ever a Babadook or whether she was the lady and the little child were unhinged. There was something wrong there.
Yeah. Well, the kid is. I was talking about this with some other friends of mine, and we did a watch of it server, and the little kid is so annoying. I'm sorry. He almost takes me out of it. He's so annoying. But the movie succeeds because, for me anyway, because it, as you said, it surfs that sort of like middle ground of, are they just unwell psychologically, or is this a metaphor, or is this an actual being, an actual demonic presence or something that's coming in? And that's what the beauty, I think it's in the the directing and the way that story is told that makes it unsettling.
I mean, then I said earlier about It Follows. Have you seen that, PJ?
No, I've not seen that. I've heard about it, but I've not seen it.
That to me was horrible because you are alone against it, and there's nothing you can.
Like that. When said it earlier, ones where it's you against it and everybody else, nobody else sees it. And that's the thing, like The Ring you were talking about, it's coming towards you. Nobody else sees it. Unless you could pass that curse on. Get somebody else to watch it and stuff like that. And that is those psychological are, I think they are more terrifying because
that's what Darren mentioned earlier. Was Night of the Demon is one of our favorite films.
Yes,
because again, it's
covered that in previous videos.
Yeah, because it's a curse, and it's going to come for you once you have been past that paper with the runes on it. It's going to come for you, and nobody can stop it. Nobody can.
Is
help
that the one
you.
that ends with the? What's the one that ends with somebody buried under the train tracks?
It ends on the train tracks, I believe. Yeah. It's a marvelous film, and and the funny thing about that film is, for years, like in the 80s, in the late 70s and 80s, I was reading horror comics, and the face of that demon used to show up in the horror comics, and I could never find out which movie that was from. But it was one of my favorite scary, horrific, like monsters. And when the connection was made, and when I first watched, I forgot the name of the movie now. What's the name? A Demon, The Night of the Demon. When I first watched that and I saw that monster, I was literally punching the air. I was like, I found you. One of my favorite monsters. And it was like, here he was, and I was really impressed with that movie because, again, it plays on those very claustrophobic terrors of not being able to stop whatever it is.
Have any of you seen Drag Me to Hell or Drag You to Hell?
Oh, I think I
have, but it's been such a long time ago. I remember. I don't even really remember. I remember I had the copy of it. That's why I remember seeing it. But it never stuck with me, so it's not one I remember.
That was one of those films where it really pushed that. You think it's over, and then it isn't, because the end scene of that is quite, oh my god! But I think they overdo that quite a bit, where you think it's over, and then it isn't. And because now I get to the point, and I still do it as it gets to the end. I'm waiting. It's not over yet, is it? It's not over.
The thing is, that's not a new thing, because you remember what did you call him? Friday the 13th. Donald Pleasance shoots Michael, and then he looks out the window and he's gone.
And he's gone.
It's things like that. It's constantly pops up. So you wouldn't have one where Jason gets chopped into pieces, and then you think, well, that's it, done. Whereas he would go into the water, and they would never find the body.
Yeah.
And things so there's the option for continuation. There's never one where they go stop.
No, I think some films they're just doing it, and you just think, I suppose you may be right that they think they might have another one coming on. But it's I wish they wouldn't keep doing that.
There's some movies where it finishes and it's a finished story. It was designed as a one movie story. And then for some reason they try and bring it back as if it never ended, and the person came back even though they went up in flames and everybody saw them go up in flames and boom, dead. Then for some reason they come back out of the grave, and you're sitting there thinking it doesn't really work, because what they're doing is just pushing it. Other ones like with Michael disappearing, they left it was ambiguous, so if another movie was never made,
that's what is the brilliant thing about that movie, because again it plays on your on your fear of the unknown. Where is he gone? Is he going to come back?
And even the movies after that, yes, there was body horror. Like, for instance, the girl, the nurse, he catches her in the doctor's surgery, and he's got the needle to her eye, and you just see it coming in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's things like that, and they're still memorable. But on the whole, the movie was okay, nothing special. It was just another horror. You wouldn't actually say, that's the same as Friday the 13th, part 1, not part 17, because it's just going on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Same as Halloween 2037, where he's in space.
Yeah.
It's
that.
There's all those ones where it's just getting to the point where the people are wanting to make a horror movie, but we'll just throw another Halloween. We'll just
it becomes almost camp at that point, because it's no longer that first movie that really delivered those original chills and scares. It's
nowadays they just keep going and going and going. Whereas there's the other option, whereas horror is a way for independents to get into it because it's cheap to make. You look at one of the most recent ones was Winnie the Pooh.
I know. I saw they did a Winnie the Pooh. They've done a Bambi, and they've done Popeye.
Horror movies with Winnie the Pooh. Basically, it's a guy walking about with the mask on.
The mask on, yeah.
You're sitting there thinking,
because Wendy raised the Terrifier, didn't you, at the beginning?
Yes.
The clown in the Terrifier, which even looking at him is like, oh no, that is just.
I have to look. And as I was saying to Miranda earlier, PJ, the Art the Clown in Terrifier, I was never like a big body horror, like really intense body horror fan, for the sake of, like, I wouldn't watch a movie just because it's body horror. It would have to be a character that I really like connected with and I really enjoyed for whatever reason. And I hadn't watched any of the Terrifier films because I just thought it would just be kind of a little bit out of my wheelhouse. It just was a bit too graphic, which is sort of like, I do watch slasher movies. I do enjoy slasher movies, but those in particular, I was like, oh, maybe they're just too much for me. And then I started to see, Art the Clown with the actor that plays him. And he is such a fun character. He just appeals to me, on some level. And I finally went and sort of popped my Terrifier cherry and watched the first one. And I did have to hide my eyes a bit, but I absolutely love him.
Again, that's the same again. Characters can get you into a movie. I'm not a big fan of overly blood and guts everywhere, and I love Evil Dead.
I love Evil Dead.
Because of Ash, because Bruce Campbell. If it wasn't Bruce Campbell and that Ash character, I think maybe I would have watched the first one and went, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's the Ash character. It keeps you in. It's the Bruce Campbell.
It is, isn't it? Because I remember seeing the was it the remake, and he goes and looks into
show.
And when the one they did Evil Dead 1, and then the second one,
Evil Dead 2. Then they did the Army of Darkness.
Yeah, and the one where he kills his girlfriend again, and they don't have the tree in it that does but he goes up to that mirror. And he looks in it, he goes, I'm okay. And his mirror reflection leans out and goes, we just cut our girlfriend up with an axe. We're not okay. And that is just.
I think I'm not entirely sure of this. What came first, right? There's that part, and he smashes the mirror, and then there's all the small ashes. Right. In the Wheel of Time. It was one of my favorite book series before the TV show. There's a bit where Randall Thor is getting attacked by miniatures, which came from a reflection that he had smashed. Yeah, and I'm sitting there thinking, did Robert Jordan see that, or did whoever did Ash v the Evil Dead read the book? I don't know what came first.
Yeah.
Because obviously Robert Jordan had been writing them prior. I picked him up, 20 years? All the books, so you're talking about 2 years a book. And so about 25 years ago was the first time I picked up the book. So you're talking about it's maybe 30 years before he started writing it. So 30 years, you're still, that's 96 maybe. Then you've got asked what came first, and that's the thing, because the two of them are very similar scenes. Two of my favourite franchises, one scene, and it's
that's a good point.
It's one of those things that you're sitting there thinking it influences it.
Yeah,
because you look at a lot of things that they do. I'm trying to think. You've had Scrubs do one that was almost like a Halloween one, and it's a comedy because they perceive it as, oh, that guy's come to get us, and then it's the guy just comes up and says, excuse me, are you the doctor? And it's basically because they're playing into that stereotype of show, but it's a comedy, but they play into it. And there's been other movies and other TV shows which have either been straight or comedies that they've played into a particular movie genre because they're so popular. They know fine well if they go down that route, they're going to get something. And that's the thing. A lot of the movies you have mentioned, even things like, I've never seen Cloverfield. It's never appealed to me.
Darren just mentioned that in the chat.
He mentioned it. I've never seen it. I've seen strange caps of certain parts of it. I've seen clips of certain parts of it.
Oh, don't watch
just
clips
not
of it.
one it's ever appealed to me. But it's the same idea as things like the Blair Witch. Never seen that because it's never appealed to me.
That's my bag.
I know, because you've mentioned it before. But there's things like that, and there's things that I love that people go, really? I prefer the thing from another world rather than the thing. I prefer the original because the thing to me, it's an okay movie, but to me it's nothing special. Whereas everybody's saying this is the greatest science, it does nothing for me. Whereas the thing from another world, so much older, it's the 50s that was made. I remember watching that with my dad when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's got a memory for you. That's got a really strong memory for you.
To me, it's a better movie. Yes, it's dated, but
it's a different movie. It's a
completely different movie because of the.
I hadn't seen the original. The movie that you mentioned that was that The Thing is based on
it's called The Thing movie. And
from another world.
From another world.
Yeah.
But I obviously grew up with just watching The Thing with Kurt Russell, and that is on my list of all-time favorite movies as well. And it's a comfort watch.
And I love it so much. Understand that, and that's the thing about horrors. We all love horrors. Some people love slashers. Some people love psychological. Some people love classic horror. Some people love vampire horror. Some people love zombie movies. That's why there's genres, and that horror is not just a genre.
Well, there's so much
genres because there's psychological, there's physical, there's I
have a little bit of everything really in the ones that I like. I have, I love the whole genre for the most part.
I like the genre, but there's certain ones that just don't interest me because they don't fall into my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things. Me, as I said, I'm not a great one for slasher, blood and guts. Love Evil Dead. I'm not a great one for I wouldn't say body horror, but there's a couple of Bruce Campbell ones, and that's what they are. They're literally he's a scientist that's chopping up people and things are happening and coming, and there's things we don't like, but there's still wee bits in them we'll all watch. You don't like. I hate sharks, but see Jaws. It's
Jaws
things
is a
like that.
masterpiece, though. It's
But Jaws. I think it works.
it's about the
because
people. It's not
monster-
about the
because
shark.
the monster. I
But-
think it works because the monster didn't, and because
Yeah.
the shark couldn't work properly. It was.
It
absent
worked
from
in our
most of the
favor
movie.
because
Yeah.
it would have been too much to show too much of it, and that's why that
Mhm.
movie
Did-
for me is
That's to me is the same as Alien.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think.
Apart from the John Hurt bit,
yeah.
Yeah.
and then there was a bit of suspense, people dying, and suddenly you see a thing, and it was just things happening.
The
It was
scene
only when they actually went underneath and checked, and
yeah,
things
well,
like
the scene from Alien that I find particularly one of the most frightening scenes is the scene where Harry Dean Stanton's character goes. They're wandering around trying to find this thing that's
Oh
just
yeah.
escaped from John Hurt's chest, and
Mhm.
it's little, and it's sort of run out of
Mm.
the room, and they split up, and they're all kind of looking for it. And Harry Dean Stanton's character is just like he's like he's so laid back that he's almost asleep. He's just so out of it half the time. But he's
And you-
wandering around, and he's not
Yeah.
taking it too serious because they don't think it's a big deal yet. At least
Yeah.
not they do, but they don't realize yet, I should say, what they're dealing with.
Yeah. And you just and when the cat comes out, come on, Jonesy,
yeah.
Jonesy, and he goes, oh,
Yeah.
and that slow turn, and then you get to the bit where he's just
Yeah.
there. No, that thing was huge, man. We're not
Yeah,
going to chase it.
And that is another one of my favorite actors, and who I first saw in that film, which was Yaphet Kotto,
Yeah.
who sadly I is no longer with us, bless him. But I absolutely love Yaphet Kotto in other things that I've seen.
Yeah.
But for horror, that is one of my favorite films, and Yaphet Kotto's character is one of my favorite characters.
You look at another, as you said, Aliens is iconic to the point it's at least twice it's been copied.
Many times.
At least twice it's very obviously been copied, because John Hurt did the "Oh God, not again," and that was in
It sounds like a spoof.
Spaceballs, the
Yeah.
Swartz. It was the bit where he's thinking, and then it comes out, "Hello, my baby." Hello, my
Oh
baby."
yes, yes,
Right,
yes.
down. But Red Dwarf did it as well.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about
Remember, it was the polymorph.
Yeah.
that. Yes.
But how many times have
was fun.
things like that, aliens, whatever, the shark,
They
because
get into the public psyche, don't they? They become
exactly
a part
so
of it.
other genres can play on them because they know people know what they are.
It's so
And that's
embedded.
the thing. They're so good. They're so well known.
Mhm.
They just basically drift into the general zeitgeist.
And you got
Yes.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I like that.
Oh,
Both just
The
old
first
and the new.
movie, the first movie's the best. The
Mhm.
one with Donald Pleasance, to me, in the head canon,
Mhm.
is a
you mean Donald
continuation-
Sutherland in the second
Donald
one?
Sutherland.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
it's because I was thinking Donald Pleasance because
Of
we were talking about Friday
Halloween.
13th.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a continuation from the original. All the character names are different, which works,
Yeah.
and it's in a big city, whereas the original one was in a small town, and they were trying to stop it getting into the city, because remember, all the trucks were getting into the city. He gets phones, and they finally stop it, and they tell him at the end they stopped it. But what if one truck got away and was in the suburbs of a big city, and then you've got
Absolutely.
the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the new one? So it's effectively it could be a continuation.
That's the point. Yeah, I did watch the original black and white one first, many years ago, and I absolutely loved it. It was properly terrifying. And I did enjoy the second. I did enjoy the one with Donald Sutherland as well.
Yeah,
but
it's
but
the
in a
same as
different
the
way.
Donald Sutherland one and the original one, whereas the part is you see him sitting there and going, and he keeps dozing off, and it's a case of has he been changed because he dozed off, whereas then there's the other person next to him. Did he doze off?
Yeah.
And
Well, it's like
that
at the end of the
thing-
thing, they don't know which one of them is infected with.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's a case
Yeah.
of it's the same idea. They're all just basically it's an intertwining story. Who can you trust?
And the thing about that is that they were going to make a sequel to the thing, and I think the fact that they didn't still keeps that argument. Which one of those is contaminant? Yeah.
We cross purposes. We were talking about Raising the Body Snatchers.
Oh, sorry.
but it works for that one as well because, as you said, the two of them, like, for instance, they're drinking poison.
Yeah.
What one's what? Is he drinking poison and handing it over to the other one, thinking, well, he's the monster, so I'm going to poison him? Or is he drinking the poison because he knows it's not going to affect him? And he gives it to the other guy, and that's the thing. Is he drinking the poison because it knows it's not going to affect him because he's the alien and the other one's going to die?
I didn't know they were drinking poison. I thought they were drinking booze.
Well, that's the thing. You're meant to think that, but it's been leaked at it was poison they were drinking. Because Kurt Russell's a bit he basically he said it was poison they were drinking because he wanted to kill the other one because he knew it wasn't him. It had to be him.
Yeah.
So that was what they were doing. But is he drinking the poison because he knows it doesn't affect him? And he's killing off the other one.
Oh, by the way, Wen, that film that I was talking to you about, the underwater factory, that's called Deep Water.
Okay.
And the actress
it's not the Abyss then.
Kristen Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
In that film, she's a lot better actress, I think. And to me, that's horrifying to me because I hate the idea of being in that sort of an arena, and especially when you're walking down those passageways, and you know that there's a structural problem, and it's going.
God, yeah, because you don't know at any second that's going to just implode.
And then they haven't got enough oxygen, but they have to walk from one part to the other, and they say if there's anything wrong with your suit, any crack at all, it's going to implode, and then this poor bloke's got like a crack appearing. Oh no, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
Can anybody think of a movie where the star in it dies or it fails?
Oh God!
There's obviously the thing. The two of them are sitting there
Yeah.
drinking the poison. What one's going to die? Are they going to die? It's whatever. But is there any movie? Because you think about it, if you're watching a movie with a star in it, you know he's going to survive no matter what. And there's
it's a little bit of a tell, yeah.
Going to rack our
But you're
brains.
rooting for him though, so it's okay because you're kind of, if it's someone who's if the actor is really good and the rest of the movie has come together well, you want them to survive, so that takes over when you're watching it.
The reason I was thinking about it is because recently I watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
I haven't seen that.
Oh.
Well, don't want to ruin it, but at the end of the movie is a nice surprise.
Oh,
okay.
It's a horrible surprise, but it's a nice surprise because you're sitting there thinking, oh, and things like that. Is The Omen, both leads die.
Yeah, Gregory Peck and David Warner.
Yeah,
and Lee Remick.
Great movie.
Yeah,
Darren just said that. Yeah,
Patrick Troughton not in The Omen as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He doesn't last long, bless him. He gets a nice spike right through him.
I've got him down there.
Yeah. But yes, that's a wonderful it's a great movie. It's a terrifying movie.
I guess my most recent one.
What's that one? God. What's that from? Okay.
That's Dungeon Crawler Carol with Donut on his shoulder. And that's what he
That's
says
one
there.
you printed.
God damn it, Donut. That's what he
Yeah.
said. So basically, I'd printed it off and I'd printed that off today and I glued them together
Fantastic.
because he kept falling. But I'm in the middle of printing a UFO.
I can see the printer
no.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the printer's going. I'm printing a UFO at the moment. I've got
like from the TV series.
No. This is just a whoop. Sliding
Careful.
off. Generic UFO. So that's the top part.
Oh, okay, so like just like a 1950s style.
Yes, and it's
Yeah.
basically it's got a stand and everything. So I'm printing that because I want a UFO.
Absolutely.
I've got the one.
Everybody needs one of those.
I've got the one near
Absolutely.
from the movie. I've got the one near from the movie. I didn't need to print this one because I've got one.
Oh God!
No, that's a movie.
That's a movie.
That's a movie.
That is a wonderful movie.
Oh yes, yeah.
So the remake with Tom Cruise I didn't like, but
and that also qualifies for like horror as well. That's sci-fi horror because it does have some extremely terrifying moments in it.
It does. Yeah, I mean the fact that they're basically people that are just basically grabbing them.
Well, the scene I think where they're hiding and the thing
it's coming down into the basement, and it's really crawling scary through and stuff like that.
That's really scary.
Another
one. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say another one on my favorites list is The Shining, which is based on obviously the Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
And I know Stephen King doesn't particularly like the movie version of that, but the movie version of that, in my opinion, is one of the scariest films as well because it deals with the human monster.
And isolation as well.
And isolation. And of course you have the wonderful Jack Nicholson and you have the wonderful Shelley Duvall who they played off of each other, I thought, very well.
Yeah.
And I do feel sorry for Shelley Duvall with that movie because she went through it. She went through it big time filming that, bless her.
Yeah.
But that is one of my all-time favorites because it does have some really genuinely scary moments.
Yeah. Darren mentioned Threads. That's the UK nuclear war movie.
Oh, okay.
There was two nuclear war movies, one in the US and one in the UK. I can't remember the name of the one in the US. But accordingly, the UK one was so terrifying that they had to put a warning on it way back in the 70s.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So scary. Whereas in the US one, people were just going.
Yeah.
They were made. I think they were made either the same year or within a year of each other. But
there was one I remember
scary.
In the US. I think it's called The Day After.
That's
I remember watching that, and that did scare me. Yeah, Darren's got it. The Day After. I did watch that in the US many years ago, and that one did it unsettled me. And I didn't enjoy. It wasn't an enjoyable kind of, horror. It was obviously far too realistic and possible.
But with his Threads, I remember the fact that is watching it, you're sitting there. It was so unsettling because the fact is the cloud, and they didn't show too much, but it was just people's reaction. There was the one with the woman who peed herself, and you're sitting there thinking,
"There's a woman peeing herself on television."
Peed herself on telly, but it was the fact is that even I was a teenager, and I'm watching it thinking, how terrifying must that be?
Yes.
If it basically an adult, just because it's so terrifying to see something like that, and how would you act? Like, I mean, we're not far from Fastlane, right? So if something hit the submarine base up there, most of the central part of Scotland's gone. So I wouldn't see anything. So it would be gone. I would just see a bright light and They would just be actually images of me and all my Star Trek figures.
Yeah.
Because years ago, because we lived about 4 miles away from Chatham, where there used to be they used to have nuclear pens down there for the submarines.
Mm-hmm.
But they closed and then all of a sudden they said Putin's still got missiles targeted at Chatham. Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I think that's it. I mean, that really is horror, and that is horror on a level that is truly inescapable. It is probably the deepest horror that you can experience, because it is possible, because it's something that we, that could happen.
Uh-huh.
And any horrors like that, those are the ones for me that
I
always tried to stay away from, even like the Stephen King books, where the human monsters really just I didn't want to read about that.
Omega Man. Charlton Heston. That was the Omega Man, wasn't it? So, and you've also had the one with Vincent Price. It was a similar idea. Was it Vincent Price?
I know the one you mean. I think I know. Yes, I think you mean.
Basically,
like
he was the last man on Earth, and his wife had been killed, and he's basically going out hunting at night, hunting all the. When they find out that they're actually got a culture, and it was basically some people survived it, and basically, and he was going out hunting them, and it was a case of how do you see it? But but it was the same again. The last man, or the last group.
Yeah,
Zombieland did it. The Zombieland did it to an extent. The Walking Dead, to me, was a mediocre thing. But there was also ones where astronauts came back to Earth, and when they landed, what happened?
Something had changed.
Somebody was trying to open the door, so they finally opened the door, and one of the guys gets dragged out, and his foot falls back into the spaceship, and that's how they know something's wrong.
Yeah, all those movies. I can't think of the title of it, but I remember one. It's a black and white film, and an astronaut comes back, and he's obviously been taken over by an alien presence, and it is genuinely frightening.
Yeah,
because go ahead.
Do you remember the film The Incredible Melting Man? Oh, that was horrible. That was an astronaut who came back, and something had got him, and he just like ate people, and it was just that was quite gruesome.
There's been a lot. That's the thing. In the 50s and 60s, there was a lot of movies like that, because they thought the space race and how it's going to affect if they met something. So there was a lot of those type of movies. There was ones where space vampires were found, brought back, and they would suck the life out of people.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of movies like that type of thing. There was a movie I was actually going to talk about, and I can't even remember.
This is.
It just basically came out
on the same boat.
The Triffids.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. The Day of the Triffids.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah,
the
original black and white.
The original black and white was absolutely amazing.
Yep.
However, the Triffids weren't the scary part. It was the other surviving groups.
Yep.
Because you remember the original Day of the Triffids when they go and it's the nursing home they're in. So it's a lot of blind women. And the thing it's terrifying them isn't the Triffids. It's the prison just down the road.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's basically they're most scared of. It's the other people. The Triffids are just incidental. They're the only thing that keeps them locked up because they're blind.
Yeah.
So they might fall into them, but they're more danger from the other people. Even the remake TV show, The Day of the Triffids, it was a similar idea that all these people were getting dragged in and they were getting fed dog food. Was
that Eddie Izzard in that? Was Eddie in that? Eddie Izzard? I think he was in that. He
I think
plays.
he was.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
were bringing all these
all
people
right.
who were blind, and they were feeding them dog food and making them do work, and that's all they were treated as, is basically useless labour. So you can't do anything else. So just you need to take that from there to there, but and you get, or else we'll no feed you. And it's same again. It's people that's causing the issues. The Triffids and them turning blind were just the backdrop. And they weren't the monsters. The monsters were the survivors.
And that is probably, again, the most terrifying to me is the human monsters.
Yeah. But it's the same idea I'd put in the chat earlier. You look at Doctor Who. I believe it or not, when I was going through my uni, we all had to do a presentation on something. Like one girl who was a vegan did it on veganism. Somebody who was right into plants did it in plants. Believe it or not, I did it on the evil of Doctor Who.
I think that's great.
And the subject of mine was, who was more evil, the Master or the Daleks? And I always said the Master because he had the face of a person.
Yeah.
A Dalek you could see, so it's no evil. It's not so much it's evil, it's a known evil. The Master is an unknown because he could be the guy standing next to you.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
He could be the guy behind you in the bus.
Yeah.
But also you could say that the Daleks, they were programmed that way. Whereas the Master made a choice to be like evil.
But it was the face of evil, I suppose it is when somebody could be the guy standing next to you, the guy you could be standing having a pint with, having a wee chat with. And he could be the one where it could be the person serving you messages, it could be the guy who's coming in to check your water pipes.
Perfect.
And that's the thing, it's the unknown evil, because it could be somebody smiling at you.
Yeah, Darren is saying in the chat, the Master chose his path, but the Daleks were programmed to survive.
Yes,
at all costs, and they had no emotion.
It was all to do with the face of it. What was more scary on the face of it? Not who chose whatever. It was the fact that you saw a Dalek, you knew what it was. You saw a Master or a person. You don't know if it's the Master or not. Could have regenerated, but it's a person. So is it the guy next to you? It's the guy serving you. It's the guy on the bus. And that's the thing. The evil can be put behind a smile. The Daleks, you can't. It doesn't matter how much they're smiling. They're Daleks.
Yeah.
And it's that type of thing. So it's the same idea in horror as when it's a monster. You know it's a monster. You can see it as soon as it turns up.
Correct.
But the ones that look like you, like, remember?
Yeah. The end
because all these people around you,
they could easily be those monsters. Exactly. And that's why those types of movies for me are kind of at the bottom of my list. Like I will avoid watching those or reading a story that's like that because it cuts a little too close to the bone. Whereas I want the escapism, I want the monster, the cryptid, the creature, things that I'm not going to encounter when I step outside.
Have you seen Pluribus?
I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's not necessarily a monster. It's slow, but the premise is really good. And how they're going to actually continue. But it's basically a signal came through. They decoded the signal and realized it was a protein. So somebody made the protein, and then basically when they got it, they cut their hand. Suddenly they were infected. They went up, kissed their co-worker. Suddenly he's infected. Then they started infecting other people. Then they realised the military's onto them. So they basically, planes and all that, spread it all over the world. And 7 people were immune.
World War Z.
Most of them accept it, but one of them doesn't, and or two of them don't. One of them because their partner died, and the other one just because he just doesn't accept it. But the other people do, because my son is being taken over, my daughter's been taken, my husband's been taken over, my wife's been taken over. So they accept it because it's comfortable. But you find out the scene where one of the people gets they're trying to make stuff so they can turn all the people into them, right? And they're all smiling, they're all happy, they're all pleased to you, they'll never lie to you. But this one girl in a wee village in the Alps or wherever it is, they're all smiling, all happy. Don't worry, it'll be fine when you're one of us. You're joining the community, And everybody's staying in the village, they're all happy. And as soon as you turn, they just pick up everything and walk away.
Yeah.
Are they this happy community or not? Because they were all happy, all staying there, they're all trying to make. And as soon as she became one of them, they let all the animals out the pens and then just walked away.
Yeah.
Is that the one with
the bad?
Is that the one with the woman from Just Called Saul? The blonde woman.
I think so. I think so. But it's because it was meant to be a guy who was the main part, but the producers or the financiers wanted it to be a woman, so the guy never changed any of the script. Suddenly, it's a lesbian couple instead of a married couple. And the rest of it. But so the actress acts like a guy throughout the whole thing.
I'll have to see that. That's
intriguing. It is slow, and it was 10 episodes.
Yeah,
but the premise is really good, and it could be quite interesting if it was a bit more cut down. And then they're talking about it could be another 2 years before season 2.
Oh.
It's that type of thing. You've got a couple of years to wait, and when the second year comes around, you're going to actually go, I need to watch the first season again because I forget everything about it.
Yeah, if there's too much time in between,
Yes. But the premise is really good, and it's a case of, are they good? Are they this community? Whatever it did turned all the people into, they've all got a hive mind, that type of thing. They all know everything. Because one of the woman who's the main protagonist is saying to the families of the other ones, saying, "Oh, so you're happy with it? My son's there. My son is thinking." He says, "Okay, your son who's 7 can explain to me a Weisnol exam." But and the wee boy starts explaining it about doing a smear test and stuff like that, and you're sitting there thinking, how freaky is it? Yet the family, the woman who is immune, is quite happy with it because of her son. Yeah, it's she just proving, is it her son? Because her son's got all the knowledge of everybody else. So you see people who are flying aeroplanes with a McDonald's t-shirt on because they're McDonald's workers. Yeah. But because everybody knows how to do everything, it's the nearest person to, if they need to fly a plane, it's the nearest person to the plane they'll send to fly it.
Wow. The whole premise is so exciting. I want to see it.
I've heard good things about it, so I do want to watch it.
It is a bit slow, and with a 2-year wait.
Yeah, that's a thing.
They could have actually did it within the 10, told us how it was going to end. But it's one of those things. It's good. It's good and bad because it's good because the premise is good, the acting's good, the idea of the people who, even the extras in the background, are good.
Yeah,
but it's a bit slow in places and it's dragged out, and then you've got 2 years to wait for the next part. Good and bad.
What I've got to ask is, do you, like me, look at something now and think, when you see, oh, there's going to be another zombie film coming out or series, oh no, not another one. Have they the vampires, Twilight virtually almost trashed vampires for me.
Yeah.
So when The Strain came along, that was a breath of fresh air. But I think vampires and zombies, I think they're done to death.
They have been done to death. A really good vampire movie, though, is 30 Days of Night. That is terrifying.
Yes.
That's a really good movie. It's the same as the Quentin Tarantino one.
Oh,
Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn. That's another really good one as well.
Yeah.
But the thing about, especially zombie movies, they've covered the full gamut of zombie movies. Even in comedies, they've done it. As zombies are slow. And the reason that's terrifying is because it's not, if a zombie's chasing you, you're fine. Because the shuffle. But it's no one zombie. It's thousands and thousands of them. So no matter how where you turn, there's all these zombies. And that's the thing. It's just the inevitable tide.
Yeah. I've always
and then they've
had
got these new ones where they're fast running. To me, they're less scary.
I find those really scary, actually. The faster ones are much scarier because it's harder to get away.
But the thing is, if they're that fast, how did anybody survive? How did anybody survive?
Yeah, you could look at it that way.
And that's the thing. So to me, they're less scary because it makes less sense that people are going to get away from them. Because as soon as
less survivors, for sure.
As soon as one of them sees somebody, that person can't move fast enough to get away from them. Whereas the slow moving ones, it's always that case of, I'm away, and then suddenly another 15 or 20 or 30.
Or you get trapped somewhere where there's too many of them to push through quickly. They are going to consume you because there's a whole.
But that's the scary thing is they're slow moving, so they don't seem like a threat. But it's not just one or two; it's thousands and thousands. And it's that tide. Whereas the fast moving ones, there's a tide, but you're sitting there thinking.
For me, I like both. I find both quite frightening if done well. The original
World War Z, that was a good movie, and they were
that is one of my favorite movies.
And what's that? World War Z.
Yeah, that tidal, the way that was filmed, with the way that they rolled over each other. That was.
But it was the clicky teeth guy. The guy was like chomping his
fast as well, but they.
Is that the one with Brad Pitt in it?
Yes,
that's the one.
That's one of my favorites because
Peter
of that.
Capaldi, who is
Peter. He plays a WHO doctor.
WHO doctor.
And Peter Capaldi.
So great.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He played a WHO doctor.
Yeah,
I know. I absolutely love that correlation. Yeah. That was a really fun fact about that movie. But yeah, that one I love again because the zombies are different enough. They really stand apart from other zombie movies because you have the George A. Romero zombies, you have the Walking Dead zombies, you have who I love actually. I absolutely I watched up until the point where they took The Walking Dead off the network that we were watching it on, and we couldn't get it anymore without buying a streaming service. But I had already watched so many of the seasons. So I loved it. I loved that premise. But one of the things that I noticed with The Walking Dead and with other zombie films that focus on the post-apocalyptic human horror, the zombies are almost secondary, where it's the humans you actually have to be more afraid of because they're the ones making the decisions to harm each other and to form tribes and groups and kill each other for food and cause each other immense pain and suffering. The zombies just have a one-track mind, but it's the humans you have to be careful of.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. It was the same idea in the day of the Triffids. The monsters were irrelevant. They were there just to actually set a boundary It's the other humans you have to keep an eye out for. But then again, as humans, we should actually just all be wiped because we're all terrible.
Yeah, it's like that,
I can't disagree with you there, PJ.
It's like that thing in the Creep Show, isn't it? With why is he here? He's a human being, and Donald Vincent Price goes, yes, but humans kill each other. They're one of the worst monsters out there, and it's so true. You know,
and that's what George A. Romero did in The Night of the Living Dead, the original. The zombies were terrifying, but the real monster were the humans because of what happens, especially at the end, and also even during
at the end where the guy goes, "Hi, you've saved us," and he went.
Well, you have a bunch of rednecks out there, just completely clueless, absolutely clueless, and that's the real fear is running into humans in that situation.
Yeah, because the very end of that movie was they thought they were saved because there was people shooting all the zombies, so they leaned out the window and goes, "Thank you," bang.
Yeah, yeah.
Did anybody like The Mist?
Yes, I loved the story more. I love the
ending. I wasn't so happy with. I thought the ending was a bit. It was too on the nose, if you know what I mean. Because as soon as they fired the shot, you knew something was going to actually turn up.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a tough one. It really is because of how the ending goes. It's a very difficult to watch.
Do you know what would have been a better ending to that? The exact same ending. The difference is they don't come up and go to the window. He's in the mist and he shoots, and then the camera just pulls back from the mist and pulls back. So the mist is still there, you can see it, and then it pans round and you can see the ships coming in. That would have been better because it wouldn't have been a case of bang. Hello, are you okay in there?
I think that twisted the knife even more because he was milliseconds away from being saved, his whole family.
To me, that's the type of trope. It gets to me. It's a case of you knew that was going to happen as soon as he shot her. I knew somebody was going to go. Are you fine? And it took it away from me because
I think probably too the timing of fitting it all into a feature. Probably played a role.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they had even just done the fact as maybe panned out from it so they could see people, as in he was minutes away from being saved. But the fact is, as soon as he pressed he fired the shot, there was the chat in the window. It was just too. You know what I mean? If he, as you said, he was seconds away, so suddenly he couldn't make out the figures were actually people. Because there's literally chat in the window as soon as they fired the shot. It just seemed the timing was just off a wee bit for me.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. There's a lot of ones like that nowadays. I can't even remember. There's been ones where something drastic. This is about to happen. We need to do this, and you think you realise as soon as you do that, somebody's going to walk in.
I was just going to say, should we wind this up at 10 o'clock? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
One of the films I really like, and it's I just one of my comfort films is The Fog, the original Fog.
Thank you for mentioning that.
I love that film.
And me.
I like The Fog. It's been a while since I've seen it.
And at the end, and you realise people get killed, but you're so rooting for the lepers.
You are.
You really are.
They're actually, because of what happened to them, they actually, they were hard done by. And but the fact that they come back, and there's so many layers of that. The cast is wonderful in that. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh my God.
How many
Old Brain.
How many movies can you think?
Adrienne Barbeau.
That's it. That's the black curly hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many movies where you thought I wanted the monster to win?
Oh, too many.
Yeah, quite a few.
But I mean, how many? There has been a lot of movies where the monster has been such a great
Godzilla. I always want Godzilla to win.
Godzilla, the original Frankenstein,
Yeah.
the original Creature from the Black Lagoon. One of my favorites.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite. I've got figures all over the place of the creature. I've got four creatures from the Black Lagoon.
King Kong.
King Kong.
Oh, I know. I can't watch that. It makes me too upset.
Yeah, definitely. Have you got a King Kong figure, Jack?
There he is. Many, yeah. You've got some great figures. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
My dad would have loved that because he loved King Kong.
Oh, King Kong's my favorite. It's the one,
and I loved it for watching with him, but I can't watch it.
No.
But Godzilla is my comfort dude. You know, I love Godzilla.
I love Godzilla. Got some.
Yeah, I grew up on Godzilla. Mothra.
I actually got
Radan.
I got the original film free with the Daily Express. My dad goes, "Oh, do you want that?" And it was a cardboard
the cardboard sleeve,
and it was the original really black and white. It was virtually black and white.
Yeah. I've got the set of Godzilla movies. I think I've got most of them, if not all of them. But I love the big creature feature ones. I love the King Kong. King Kong, my mum used to always, right up until she passed, would go, anytime King Kong was on, she says, "You cried at that."
I guess why I can't watch it.
I was 5 years old when I first saw it. Yeah. And when King Kong died, I cried for him.
I can't watch it because it upsets me too much of what humanity did to him and betrayed him, and it just breaks my heart. I can't watch it as much as I appreciate it, you know, as a film.
Oh, it's a great movie, but as you said, the ending, I can understand why my mum says at 5-year-old I cried when King Kong died.
I cry now watching
because
it. I just couldn't.
It is a sad story. It's not. Yeah. It's not a monster story. It's a sad story.
He wasn't the monster.
A monster.
Yeah.
It's not a monster movie. It's a sad story about a monster.
I think I felt that
humans are the monsters in that, in my opinion. Yeah.
I think actually you said to my dad at the end of the film, "The beast from 20,000 fathoms."
Yes, that was
I said, "Oh, but they did that to him. They got him up from there. It wasn't his fault."
Exactly. I always rooted for the monster in those situations. That's Ray Harryhausen.
The original Frankenstein. Right? Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He was created, and fair enough. He was sent out for a normal brain, but he got his sister, Abby Normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's the fact is...
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. But it was the fact is, the monster was already dead, so science brought it back to life, and suddenly it's a monster's fault it's killing somebody. Yeah, I mean, the monster, you create anything. It's no that anything. It's like saying, I've made a gun. It's the gun's fault it shot somebody. It's not, it's the creator's fault. But you're meant to feel sorry for Victor.
The people.
For Victor. Feel sorry for the girl who got drowned.
Because he's actually the monster. I mean... Dr. Frankenstein is actually he's the monster. Yeah.
And it's the same as a lot of these ones. The creature from the Black Lagoon. It was in the Black Lagoon. They sailed in, and then suddenly
they went to it.
The monster's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Jaws. Right, fair enough. It was attacking people.
Yeah, but it was just following its own natural.
So it's not a monster. It's just a creature. But you go enter that creature's domain, and then suddenly it's the problem.
Correct. Exactly.
And it's a lot of these movies where the Triffids, right? Fair enough. That's the Triffids were already there. It's just that people got turned blind, and then suddenly, because people were farming the Triffids.
Were they? Wasn't it seeded? Did it happen from? like a meteor strike?
It was a
or
meteor
something?
that caused people to go blind. But the Triffids were already there because there was movie thingies about these plants that moved.
Oh, right. Okay. It's been
And
ages since I've
people
watched it.
would actually I don't know what they used them for, but they would cut the stinger out
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
to keep them
Huh.
for whatever they were. And then suddenly
That's
that's why they suddenly appeared in everywhere, because they were already being used.
Farmed.
They were being farmed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they appeared in all the cities all over the place, because there was
that's an
something
element
they
of
got
that.
from them.
Yeah.
And the boy,
it was explained more in the TV show. But the movie didn't the comet didn't bring the Triffids. The Triffids were already there. The comet just made people blind,
Mm.
and the Triffids basically caused all the problems because they were.
That was the real
carnivores.
terror. It was the
They were
going blind.
carnivores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, yeah.
So the Day of the Triffids should have actually been called the Day of the Comet, but that's a different movie.
Yeah. Yes.
And a computer game. Anyway, so we round it off.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what are we all doing? You're 3D printing.
I'm just 3D printing.
Yeah. Well, I watch horror movies again for relaxation.
Why not?
So like every Sunday, earlier today, I watched one. I can't even remember what it was. It was so bad. But I set my tablet up in the kitchen while I'm prepping all my veg for the week. And I just put like a horror movie that I don't want to invest. Like I don't like both of us aren't going to sit down and invest an evening in watching. But if it's free on Prime and it looks like it's sort of in my wheelhouse, I'll check the reviews and then I'll pop it on. So that's kind of what I did earlier tonight is I watched one.
I'm actually in the process of I'm listening to an audiobook, NPCs. It's but I'm actually rewatching X-Files. I'm actually
we're just finishing
2.
Actually.
I'm on season 2. But it's a slow going because I'm not watching them constantly because I'm watching maybe when I go to my kit, I'll watch an episode or things like that. Just rewatch Chuck. So looking for something else to rewatch, but I've got plenty.
I mean, at the moment, I know you're not a fan of it. Yeah, I'm rewatching Game of Thrones just to see whether it was just to go through it, and then I'd like to restart the X-Files again.
It's so worth it.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's basically because the thing is, I like the X-Files. However, because I'm getting older and grumpier, I'm going. That would
no.
That and that's the problem when you're watching it. When you get to the point you're sitting there going, "That wouldn't happen. I wouldn't do that."
Oh no, not the X-Files. We're all in. We're all in.
I'm enjoying it, but there's certain parts of it. It's just my old grumpy self is actually going.
Well, I'm up for doing another stream soon. If you want to do one,
yes,
Wendy.
Please. I would love that. We could talk for like a whole week.
And
I think
we'll do one again on 3D printing, PJ.
Yeah, that was actually really interesting listening to you two talk about that.
Oh, I'm actually still enjoying my 3D printing. I've been printing left, right, centre. My printer's on every day, so it is. There was something I printed. Oh, there he's there.
PJ's going to print himself a new house.
That was a 19-hour print because of the colour. I've actually printed it in colour.
Oh, I love him.
That's Walter. Yeah, that's Walter the Robot.
Yeah.
From Judge Dredd.
Oh,
and I wanted to print them in colour.
Okay.
I wanted to print them in colour. It's only silver, two colours of silver and black, but that was a 19-hour print.
Wow. You should have a little cup of.
That was a 30-hour print.
Yeah.
A day and 6 hours because of the size and the colours change.
You should have some Did you have Synthy-Calf? Or was it they banned Synthy-Calf because it was addicted? You had to have Synthy-Calf or something.
Yeah. But and you got put in prison for sugar.
Oh, crikey.
Sugar was basically new cocaine. You get done for that.
Drop.
But I've been printing non-stop. There's just my
Which one's that one?
I think he's finished. Oh, he's just showing you stuff. I've seen that.
Nod Null.
Ah,
870 smells.
Oh, London. What is it?
yeah. That's from Red Dwarf.
London, 800,
Oh, Red
178
Dwarf.
miles.
Oh, God, I
It's
forgot.
Salem.
Oh, PJ, I have to tell you before we sign off very quickly, we're going to a con here in
Ooh.
Wales, and Brimmer is going to be there.
Excellent.
Oh, great.
I've met him.
Yeah.
My daughter met him.
You have indeed,
pleasant.
yeah.
It was very pleasant to my daughter, and she was over the moon because I went as senior technician and she went as junior technician.
I know you must have gotten
brilliant.
such a kick out of that.
Because we got a picture with them, the two of us, and even when we later on that day we went to the what do you call it the question
the
panel,
the talk, the
panel.
sort of
and basically
panel, yeah.
normally my daughter sits back like that, but I asked a question and just before I asked the question she put her hand up and I thought, ooh, that's unusual.
Wow. Yeah.
So she asked him, and as soon as he saw it, he shouted, "Oh, the junior technician!"
Hey.
And I thought, excellent.
he must have
So
been
she was over the
absolutely
moon
thrilled.
because he remembered. And that was later
Oh,
on in the day. So
wonderful.
we met him in the morning. This was in the afternoon.
Oh, that's
The
really
junior
good.
technician. It's obviously because the two of us were dressed
It's
up.
so
and-
nice when they really enjoy it and they go with it and have fun with it, especially after all the years, all the cons he's done. It speaks a lot about him as a person that he really engages with the fans and appreciates them
he
when
does.
they, you know,
The only two I've got
makes
to
all the
meet
difference.
is Craig Charles and Danny John Jules. I've got the video from Danny John Jules wish me a happy birthday, but I've not met Danny and I've not met Craig. I've met most of the other ones.
I'd love to meet Danny, yeah, and Craig, yeah, all of them really. I mean, I'd love to meet Rob Llewellyn.
Robert Llewellyn is great, so
he's brilliant. Yeah, I love them all.
Robert and Chris are probably the two are very fan orientated. They can deal with people. I think they're just there's like maybe there's Craig and Danny.
A little bit less so, maybe.
They're a bit less so, but it's only because they're more into things that are less than the acting side. So the dancer and the DJ.
And that's okay. Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Yeah, that's great.
But
it is nice that 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 some of them are quite willing to come to cons and and engage with fans.
You'll have to take some pictures.
Have a good time at it.
Oh yes, yeah.
Let us all know.
Yeah, we're not buying autographs or anything this time.
No,
or pictures this time. It isn't a big Comic-Con type thing, so it isn't like they're going to be like charging the earth for everything. But still, I think we're just going to go and enjoy the vibe. Go to the panels, listen to them speak, and just enjoy that. The cosplay really is just the best.
Oh, I love looking at.
I've still got my Rimmer outfit upstairs.
Yeah, cool. I should borrow it.
I believe it or not, is it in here? I've got the tie somewhere here.
I know how to do the salute.
I've got the tie here somewhere.
A full Rimmer.
Full Rimmer.
There you go. Look at that.
What is
There's
it?
my Rimmer tie.
Yay! Love it. There it is.
From the outfit. So basically, that's what I'm saying. It's even lying around here. So yeah, but I hope you really have a good time. It should be fun.
Thank you. Yes, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, it's a nice sort of more local one, but has some nice guests. Peter Davison is going to be there.
Oh, nice bum.
Yeah, and Paul McGann as well.
Oh, that's good.
So so we're looking forward to the panels, and we're looking forward to that.
Okay. Okay, everybody.
Thank you so much, Miranda, for inviting us on.
Thank you all for coming, and all the people in chat too. It's very nice.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
So I'll let you know when the next.
And Darren, they're not that noisy. Mine's is running in the background.
Yeah.
And I'm fine.
Oh, PJ,
I can't hear it. Yeah.
Did you find the setup noisy? Oh.
It's just basically the vibration testing is the only thing that annoys me. It's noisy. It does the vibration test, and then it does it that fast that you actually think it's actually breaking. Hell. But apart from that, it's fine. But no, Darren, see if you don't tell Wendy, you should actually just get one. They're not that expensive.
Oh no, I'd be voting for it. Believe me. I have a slight addiction to skulls. That's one of my, and I would be printing skulls of everything. You would.
I've got a skull on my print list.
All day.
A human skull ready on my print list. It's only because it takes
a long time.
I think it's 14 hours to print it out.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to do it like in sections, wouldn't you? And then just sort of
no, because the print bed in ours is 256 by 256 by 256.
Yeah.
If you've got a head that's bigger than that, I mean,
you get some acting roles.
So you should get a full size human skull on that.
There's some really good demon ones.
Yes, you might have to.
I want to do a whole Wendigo cosplay with the skull and the antlers.
Oh, nice.
So I want to do like a whole Wendigo cosplay. I'll basically live in it.
Well, I've got the 3D
I'll be shopping in it.
I've got the 3D printing thing for a full size Judge Dredd outfit. So if I decide to go, I've got the helmet, the day stick, the logger and all that.
Yay, there's the Dalek. Yeah.
There's your Dalek.
Yeah, I remember when you printed that. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks really smart, and the black definitely works.
It does.
I've got the special weapons Dalek. It's
just the gun needs to be a bit bigger. It's teeny.
That's the thing. It's basically what you need to do is cut it, extend it, then merge it again.
I like my little dragon. See my little dragon?
Oh, he's adorable. I love dragons, and he's red as well.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Maybe we were asking about
the Welsh dragon.
Somebody was asking about the size.
Yes, the Greater Tuin. I love him. He's gorgeous.
That is good.
So there's the size compared to my hand.
Yeah, he's just the right size, actually. Yeah.
Just
really
perfect.
Nice. He needs to be suspended, like from the ceiling on some light.
He sits above my monitor. But as I said, I printed it in colour, and then I just added a wee bit of highlighting on it. So that is the colour that I printed it on.
I know Darren's freaking out over here because we're huge Pratchett fans, and he got me into Pratchett. So I mean, to have a Greater Tuin like that would just be
I've always wanted to get it, and as soon as I saw it and it's 3 parts, I printed it.
He's beautiful.
I coloured it in because it was actually plain when I got it, so it would have been all the same colour.
Yeah,
thought, ain't having that. So
no.
See, the biggest thing I've done is that.
The bolter.
And the magazine comes out.
Oh my God, toys! We'd just be printing toys all day long.
I've got my toy gun as well. I've got my toy gun. So I have.
Yeah, I want. We'd have to have Hans Blaster and like everything.
Well, I've got Miles Firefly. I've got Miles
a pulse rifle.
A pulse rifle, yes.
And I said to PJ, I would really the old series of Battlestar Galactica. I love those old blasters that they had.
Yes,
back
then. That was a science fiction blaster for me.
PJ is pointing to the Cylon. Yeah, proper Cylon.
I want a Battlestar Galactica Viper helmet.
Oh yeah!
Can you imagine?
I have to do it in parts because it's so big it won't fit.
I want
in the
ship.
So.
I want one of the Vipers. Yeah.
I like the uniforms.
Viper sitting there.
Yeah.
So
I had a little toy of was it was it Boxy or Moxie, the little mechanical dog?
Oh yeah,
Boxy,
yeah.
the Daggett.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Daggett.
Daggett.
Yeah.
He was a Daggett. I had a little toy of one of those. I wish I still had him. That was one of my comfort shows growing up.
Yeah.
The original Battlestar Galactica. Yeah.
Well,
I did that.
if you look there, if I could get
We're basically going to be
this
talking
moved
until
slightly.
midnight.
On there, you can see, apart from my Cylon there, I've got a Viper there. And as you can see, I've got By Your Command up here. I've got the plaque.
Wow.
Fair enough. I've got Miranda's Midnight Calf up here as well. So
That's
things are
awesome.
getting all stuck on that. So
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Best
then
stuff in the world.
Then there's
Okie dokie, chaps.
Yeah.
Chapesses. Thank you very much for
Yes,
coming.
I think we're going to have
It's
to.
really
Definitely.
Yes, thanks so
Okay.
much, Miranda.
And I'll
We
see
could-
you
We
soon.
could definitely
Definitely.
talk all day.
Okay.
Ta-ra.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye all.
Bye-bye.